Hi, everybody. It is June the 28th, and as you know, I have been struggling with accounts, things going on in the world that just keep tugging at me and bothering at me. And got some help last time, some advice. But today, both in Sunday school and in big church, which is still online for us, um, had a couple interesting thoughts on the world. And in church, one of the verses that pastor was speaking from was Romans 7:15. And it said, "For I do not understand my own actions, for I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate." That's like, he was talking about our original sin. But how true is that? There are so many things I do that aren't really what I want to do. Um, and I really doubt that any of the people who were committing the violent acts after the murder of Mr. Floyd, I don't know that they really, got up in the morning and go, I feel like committing some violent acts. I don't, but they do it because they get swept up and they think that's what's going to fix it. And it's, from other things that are hurting them inside. And so that was churning in my mind. And then in Sunday school, we looked at First Peter. Let me find it here again. Flip. First Peter 1, yeah, like right around 7. Yes. And it said, "So that the tested genuineness of your faith, more precious than gold." It was basically talking about it in the verses before, how we go through trials as Christians. It is a guarantee, and those trials make us better. Um, just like as put gold through more refining, it becomes more pure. And we talked about how we're not used to, really, in this country anyway, undergoing religious persecution. But another kind of back door to all of the upheaval that's going on is, it seems like they're going to try to push some religious persecution through there. I've heard of taking down Jesus statues because people are offended. I don't know. I've heard of Catholics praying at one place, getting beat up, and then they're trying to press legislation where you can't pray in public, or so you can't, it's like really saying your right to assemble is going to be threatened. And so it's like you can just see things starting to pick. And we've, the original Christians kind of came to this country for religious freedom, because they wanted to be free of persecution, which, hey, I'm all for. I'm not necessarily one who wants to know much persecution per se for my faith, but to think that it's not there is just naivety. The Bible says you will face it, but it also says you will be better having gone through it. So I'm afraid that harder times are coming for us as Christians in this country. I'm it's like, seeing the writing on the Roman wall there. But there are better things to come. It may not be in this world. We sometimes forget too, as wonderful as this world is, the house, the job, the cars, the food, the people. This isn't our home. I have a home somewhere else after this life. And I have to remember that, because this life could let me down and things could be taken away. And I have to be aware that that's a real possibility. And so it's something to think about. Preparing yourself, prepare for the worst, expect the best. And so that's kind of where I am. But there's something that makes me feel good knowing that others have done this before. And even though it's been hard, I wouldn't change it because it made me closer to God. So that's what I'm hoping for these days. It's a lot to process, and I may be thinking about this some more. But that's where God has found me, still kind of pondering what's going on in the world and my place in it. Um, and He's given me lots to think about, which, I'm glad, because that just tells me He already knows my needs before I do.